Welcome back to the channel. Today I thought I'd talk to you about Studio10 makeup. I've been using it for a few months. It was gifted to me by Studio10, and you might remember just before Christmas I did the podcast chat with the founder Grace, and if you haven't seen it or listened to it, it's also got the Zoom recording where Grace shows you how quickly and easily you can put on each product. It has been created to be very flattering and beneficial to your skin as you get older. But in addition to that, it's a very, very effective and very impressive brand. So as I say, it was gifted to me. I've been using it for months. I wanted to use it for quite a while to see what I genuinely thought about it, because my first impressions were good. But sometimes you've got the best of intentions, but beyond those first impressions, you just slip back into using what you use day to day. Hand on heart, I am using these products. I consider them what my go-to is if I know that I'm going to be on camera. I also think that they've been very effective when I've been having to take some photographs. I'm saying having because I never choose to take a photograph, I always have to be forced. But I had to take some updates because I'm doing a new website, and I thought, right, let's give the Studio10 a try, and it really does flatter my skin anyway, and from what I've seen online, a lot of people agree. So if you want to listen to the podcast or watch the Zoom chat, you'll find it on YouTube or the usual platforms. But I thought it would be quite useful just to chat you through what I've been trying, what it says about the products on the website, and what I've found with my own notes that I've made myself. So let's have a little chat through my trial of Studio10. Okay, so when you buy Studio10 or when you choose to purchase anything, I would recommend really going onto the website and looking at Grace's ethos. Not only does she make it very clear why she created the brand, she also explains in lots of different ways, in blog posts, in podcasts, there's even magazine articles, why you shouldn't shy away from embracing your skin as it ages, because let's be honest, you cannot avoid it. The products have been designed for around about 30s plus, but anyone can wear them. But they genuinely do feel as if they're game changing to me. Now that's as someone that doesn't specifically go out of their way to look for age related products, but I'm now 41, I'll soon be 42, and you definitely do see very subtly little changes in your skin, but sometimes you don't notice it until maybe there's a different light, or maybe there's just maybe something, you might put a product on your skin and think, that's behaving differently. And then that's when you realise, oh, things are changing, but it's really subtle and it's nothing to get worked up about. It's just good to know that there's someone out there that's thought about it and has some solutions for you. So I've made some notes, and what I'll do is I'll work through the products one by one and tell you what I think. So my first impression was on the brush. So this is a double-ended vegan face brush and it's £28. Now, when you think about it being double-ended, so straight away that's 2-in-1. So I thought that was good value for money, especially when you think about how expensive brushes can be. You can pay a fortune if you want for a single brush. Now, it is definitely soft. That's one of the selling points. It is so soft. But not only is it soft, it's also firm enough to get the job done. So this is the more angled side. I would say this is really good again for maybe getting in if you really want to target where you're placing some of your product, whether it be your foundation, whether it be your blusher, but also getting into the nooks and crannies, as they say, in your face. So in the crease of your nose, over the eyes, just blending into that forehead. So that's very handy. But again, so it's soft and it's got a shape, but it's firm enough to do what you need it to do. And this is great for blending, blending out edges, stippling if you want, just basically complementing what this end does. So between the both of them, between both sides, I think this brush is extremely handy. I've used it every time I've applied the foundation. Sometimes I've only applied the foundation as a concealer. There's also been times when I've used the darker side as a contour, and then I've also used it for the blusher. So it's definitely been worth its weight and it does perform very well. They say that it's excellent quality, easy to maintain and pro quality. I would agree definitely would agree with that. It is easy to maintain, just a little bit of the shampoo or the soap of your choice to keep it clean, and then let it air dry, and there's absolutely nothing to suggest that it's not going to keep being easy to maintain. Okay, the next one is the Youth Lift Glow-plexion, £26. It really is multifunctional, so I like to show you what the packaging looks like. I always think that's part of the, it's almost like you're getting a gift. So this is what it looks like, and I'll put a little bit onto my hand. It's a pump dispenser, so you can't take too much out, which is good. And I always tend to go less and then build it up. So let me show you how this looks, just to give you an idea on the skin. So it's not sticky, which is good. Sometimes these things can be quite sticky, quite tacky. So can you see it's got that lovely sheen to it, but not glittery? So just to give you my thoughts on this, so it's almost like a primer, a perfector, a glow. It's also, I think they say you can use it as a highlighter in parts. I'll actually have a look at the packaging and see what it says here. It says, so it's for counteracting dullness, counteracting tiredness, and if your skin's a bit lackluster, it's a 4-in-1 hydrating primer, radiance cream, illuminator and highlighter. So I would agree with that. And again, look at that little sheen that you've got there. I found that it was easy to use. As I say to you, not too much came out during a pump. There's nothing worse than when you actually go to take a bit out and then the pump is huge and you think, oh no, I'm never going to use all that, and you can't put it back. So I like the fact that you can control that. It's definitely not greasy. One of my bugbears is when they are really greasy, because I've got a naturally not very oily, but it is an oilier skin, so I don't want to feel as if there's more there. It's also not metallic, as I say, and not glittery, so it's complementary, and you can imagine if you're wearing this under foundation or under concealer, it's going to give you that reflection and that glow. You can understand why they say you can wear it as a highlighter too, because it does catch the light very naturally. I think it's great for anyone who's unsure of primer. Some people don't get on with primers, or they really think they don't. As I say, I've used some primers that are too greasy or too sticky or too silicone-y, and they just feel as if it's a very strange texture. It doesn't feel like that at all. It feels very pleasant. And yes, you can see that it gives radiance and it does feel easy to wear. And you've got the option, if you don't want to wear it with any makeup, you could mix it with moisturiser. Also, they say you can use it as an eyelid brightener, an eyelid primer, or as I say, a highlighter. You can also mix it in with your body moisturiser if you want to highlight the décolleté. I think that's a great idea. Maybe a little bit of this on your shoulders if you're going out for an evening or it's your summer break. You can imagine that that's going to look great because it's not a powder, so you don't need to worry about it going dusty anywhere, getting caught on your clothing. It's just going to blend where you need it to blend and you can get on with your day. So I think that's very nice, and what I'll do is I'll put the foundation beside it and over it so you can see both. Right, and the next one that we'll go for, because we're sticking with the face, is the Age Repair Perfect Canvas SPF 30 foundation, and it's £34. Now, even though it's got your SPF, I'm sure that Grace and everyone that looks after her skin would say still put your SPF on. It's just extra protection, so that's always good to know. So I got the foundation 1 and foundation 2 blend, and it's medium to full coverage, so you can see it here. So I know this will be too light for some people, but again, you've got choices on the website. So this is a foundation that you can also use as a concealer. And then this is your contour if you wish it to be, or to blend them both to get the correct match for you. Or again, as the year changes, your skin colour changes, so you can blend in different proportions to suit. I'll get the brush and show you how it looks. So I'll do a little bit just normal on my hand. And remember, I've got winter hands at the moment, so they're even paler than normal. So show you how that looks there. And then let me show you it over the primer. Now, I can tell in reality, I hope you can tell too, that the primer has actually just given it an extra level of smoothness. And I can see here that it's still gone on nicely, but it's actually slightly more even where the primer is, and it just looks a little bit more matched and blended. So if you weren't sure about what primer does, maybe, again, your hand is not your face, we know that, but you can see here, just on the skin with no prime, and then here, I just think it looks as if it's a better finish. And you can see that tiny hint of the luminosity coming through there, but it's not on here, so it's much more flat. But again, faces are not hands, so it's just for the benefits of the demo that you can see that. So just to chat you through my thoughts on it. So they say it's a serum foundation and it's hydrating and light, so I'd agree with that. It doesn't feel as if it's cakey, it doesn't feel powdery, nothing like that. As I say, you can blend both colours to match your skin, and they are easy to blend. Just for the sake of it, let me put a little bit of the darker colour in the middle. And you can see that it's not as if you've suddenly got a tiger stripe there. It blends very easily. So that's quite good. Basically, it's doing what they claim it does, and that's always a good starting point, isn't it? It's not drying, and I didn't find it powdery. I also didn't find it oily. Sometimes serums, people worry, oh, if it's a serum style foundation or serum based, does that mean it's going to feel as if it's sliding off my skin? No, not at all. I also appreciate that it's a colour adjusting formula and it's designed to reflect the light. It is very wearable, I did agree with that, and I think it photographs very well because, as I say, I had to update my social media pictures, so I used the Studio10 for them, and it photographed very well. So that's always a bonus, because sometimes things look great in reality, they don't photograph well, so that's good. It does feel like you're not wearing foundation. That is a big bonus for me because I don't wear foundation day to day. I think this is great as a concealer, and you can build it up. So what you might want to do is build and then powder. If you need something very like intense coverage, it might not be right for you, but it is medium to full. So I would say if you're not sure, but you do want to wear it as a foundation and then possibly look at it as a concealer, I think it's definitely worth the investment because you will get your use out of it either way. So all in all, as being truthful, I would never have picked a foundation like this because I always thought these types of foundations didn't really do much for me, but I think I was approaching it with my younger skin, and that's exactly what Grace's point is. As your skin ages, you deserve to have the products that complement that skin, and a lot of us, whether we want to admit it or not, don't see or don't realise that we're moving into different areas of what our skin needs and what complements our skin. And sometimes you need a company like Studio10 to say, have a little think about your range that you're using at the moment, have a little think about your age, have a little think about your skin's needs. Are you ticking all the boxes? And sometimes we don't realise that we're actually not using the best products for our skin at this particular time. So if you're in any doubt, it's definitely worth a shot. And look how compact it is. It's really thin, it's very sturdy, and you're not going to have any issues with that in your bag or your makeup bag if you're on the move. Okay, let's move on to cheeks. So I'll be bringing the brush back again, so don't shout at me because the brush has got some foundation on it, because that's what we would do anyway in real life, and then you clean it. So it's the Plumping Blush Glow-plexion, and it's £24. Now you get a lot for your £24, and again, a lot of people will say, oh, I want a powder, or I'm really not sure if that's how I want to use my blusher. But again, I found it very wearable, and they also say you can wear it on your eyelids or as a brightening shadow. I think it's again something that I wouldn't really have thought of immediately, but the colour is very nice because it's got those warm orange undertones and the gentle pink hues. And when you think about it, the darkness that you have under your eyes and sometimes on your eyelids, that can be quite bluish, quite purplish. So the orange undertones are going to help to cancel that out and knock it out. So that's a good idea. So that's the colour. And then what you can do is just buff it out, and then it becomes much, much, much more subtle. But it doesn't have to be subtle. So you can make it a very gentle wash, or you can make it quite an intense colour. You can use it again to very carefully mimic where the sun hits your face, but I'm saying that don't do your face in stripes. Don't draw big lines on your face and then blend them badly, because that's not going to look good on anyone. But look how that's went from being quite, I would say quite vibrant, quite pigmented, to buffed out, and now it's very gently buffed out. And you can just see, I probably could have got away with using half a pump, but it's very subtle. And again, because I've still got the little bit of the highlighter and the foundation underneath, you get an idea of how it looks when it's building on the skin. There's absolutely no issue with product over product. They all are designed to work very well together. So bringing it back here, what I found was, I agreed it was very wearable. I liked the fact that it had a very gentle reflecting pearl. As you can see, nothing extreme, nothing very shiny. As I say, nothing that makes you look like a robot. Very, very easy to blend, especially with the brush. Not too much dispensed out, but I would say do half a pump to begin with and see how you get on. You might actually get both cheeks done with half a pump, so it's good value for money. And the good thing that they say is that the formula absorbs excess oils, so you're not going to end up with greasy cheeks. And how often either yourself or someone else you've noticed as the day goes on, their cheeks just become very shiny and very glowy, but it's not a good glow, it's like an oily glow. So this is a formula that will absorb that oil, so that won't happen. But you can buff it and blend it with the brush or your fingers, but I'd say if you want to make it as easy as possible and get the best result, go for the brush. Okay, now we move on to the Brow Lift Perfecting Brow Pencil, £22. Now, a lot of people will say, I've got plenty of brow pencils, I don't need any more, but I like the theory behind this. You probably are aware of universal brow colours, so can you see this? And I remember in the chat, I think Grace said a lot of people say, oh, that looks almost grey, why would I want that? A universal colour means that you can have it as subtle as you like. So it would work on the most pale of eyebrows. It would also work on blonde, on white. But then the darker your eyebrows are, the more you build up that colour until you can get the darkest colour that you need. And you just keep going and going and going and going until you're filling in those hairs. And remember, it's individual hairs that you're aiming to fill in, not big blocks of eyebrow. That doesn't look good. So it's a very easy to use product. It's very effective. It's also got the highlighter that you just run underneath the high points. That's also very good, because what that does again is just bring definition to that area. It's not white, so you don't need to worry about it looking very stark and very dramatic and bold. In your day-to-day makeup, unless that's what you're going for, you're really not looking for dramatic and bold. You can save that for your nights out or photo shoots. Mostly day-to-day people want just a nice, well-blended, not natural as in you can't see it, natural as in it's well applied. That's what I mean by natural. It looks well applied. It's not an evening makeup. It's not a special makeup. It's just your day-to-day great presentation of you, looking good, looking well, looking healthy, you know, that kind of thing. So what I found was, because it's double-ended, again, that's good value for money, so £22, but you're effectively getting two products for that, two pencils. There's no reddishness in that brown, no red undertones, which can happen a lot with brown pencils, and it just looks so unnatural and so strange. The neutral toned highlighter, again, defining and lifting your brows, and it's not harsh. And the good thing is it's firm, but it's soft, so you can work with it without feeling as if it's actually a sore pencil to use. It doesn't feel as if it's actually hurting the skin, dragging the skin. It's also not so soft that you can't get definition, but then it doesn't smudge. So you don't want to do all that work, making your eyebrows look really good, all those individual hairs, and then it smudges. So they've thought a lot about how to make this effective, and I think they've done a really good job. Okay, next we've got our 6-in-1 Perfect Lash Mascara, and this is £24. I think this is a bit of a hero product because so many people say that they can't find a good mascara or one that they think actually delivers on its promises, and you can spend an absolute fortune. So I would say that for what it claims, it really does put its money where its mouth is. So it's double-ended, and they say so you can easily apply to the top and bottom lashes, and then you've got your wand and comb to help thicken and help define. And what I also think is very good is you've got a nice chunky brush for your top lashes. So that's nice and chunky. Obviously you can use it for the bottom lashes too. It's a very nice smooth formula, and I found that you did get the length and the thickening and the definition very quickly. I didn't have to put on coat after coat after coat. And then this is the comb to brush through, but I also think that the comb is very effective for catching those bottom lashes. So many people feel that they just ruin their eye makeup when they go to do the bottom lashes, and then the brush is too big and they've got no control and they just get mascara everywhere. If you do get mascara on your eye makeup, let it dry and then it'll just pick off and flick off. Do that, because if you try to remove it when it's wet, you'll just smudge all your makeup and ruin it. So my advice is, if you do get a smudge of mascara on, just let it dry and then it'll flick away. So what I found with this was, I was really impressed. I thought it was excellent. I thought it did do a lot. It made my eyes as dramatic as I wanted the lashes to be. And I have quite long lashes, so when I use mascara, I find it quite fun because naturally, even when you tint them, after a few days, you don't get the same drama. But it's great fun when you've got your lashes and you can put mascara on and you realise that the tips are there and you'd forgotten about it because they're quite fair, and your lashes are actually longer than you realised, top and bottom. So it's still a novelty for me when you apply mascara and you're like, ooh, my lashes are longer than I realised. I know that's not the same for everyone, but you can use your products now that can help to thicken and lengthen your lashes if you want to use those. So it didn't clump, it wasn't too wet. It did have the ultra black pigment, I'd agree with that. They say it's a nourishing formula. Well, I certainly had no issues. And as they say, flake free and lightweight. I would say yes, flake free for me, definitely. It did dry quickly, they say that. They say it's buildable. I didn't have to build it too much. I just put on one decent coat and I felt that was plenty. And it removed easily for me with cleanser and micellar water, and then just on with your usual routine. Obviously you always get a bit of mascara residue. If you don't, then let me know your secret, because even when you look as if it's all removed, when you then thoroughly cleanse your face, you'll see more again when you're using your face cloth and you'll be like, oh, where'd that come from? I thought I got it all off. So it definitely did come off easily, and like all mascaras, you just have to make sure that you thoroughly cleanse. But I really liked it. I thought, for me, one of their hero products. And then we move on to lips. So this is the Age Reverse Perfecting Liner, and it's 22. And I actually do need to sharpen one side of this, as you'll see. It's another product again. There's nothing that I used that I felt they'd missold it or they'd oversold it, nothing like that at all. So it's double-ended again. It's got a neutral colour for highlighting, and it's also quite good with the highlighter and the neutral. Some people find that as they get older their lipstick bleeds, but they like to wear still quite a defined colour. So that's good for outlining your lips, and it almost gives like a protective invisible line so you won't get that bleed. So that's good to know too. And then the neutral colour is basically put on where you need it or where you want it. And then you've got your liner. See, as you can see, I do actually need to sharpen this, which is proof that I've been using it. And your liner, as they say, I'm just wondering if they've gave us a colour. I think they just call it their universal colour. I could be wrong, but it's quite a nice, I'll just see if it's got a colour here. No, I don't think it is. I'd say it's quite a nice gentle pink, a very soft pink, almost verging onto a soft pink, moving into the peaches, but very gentle, very wearable. And they say that it's a good universal shade, I'd agree with that. Yep, neutral highlight, so it's not a very strange highlighter colour. It's very neutral, which again is good if you just want to highlight or blend or just give those lips that guard from bleeding. They say great for definition, yes. Easy to use, yes, I found that. Not too soft or too hard, again, like the eyebrow pencil. Blendable, yep, I agree. And good for correction or filling in the lip. Yeah, and the tip is, again, if you fill in the lip with your lip liner, you'll find that the lipstick or the lip gloss has got something to cling to, which means that you'll get a more even fade as the day goes on, because it will fade, everything fades. But also, in addition to that, it's good for making sure that you just have a more even base for when you apply your product of choice. And that's always a good place to start. Just get the base even. We do it with our skin, we do it with our eyes. It's a good idea to do it with your lips too. But again, that might be for your special occasions, not necessarily day to day. And then finally, we've got our Lip Perfecting Balm Gloss, and that is £22. And I think a lot of people would say, would I pick this colour? And I thought it might be a little bit too bright for me, but the magic happens when it goes onto your lips. If you look again, because I had to change my social images, and I say had to because I'm back to being truthful again. If I can get away with not taking a picture, then I'm not taking a picture. But it was time for an update. I got my hands twisted behind my back for an update. And it's a Studio10 gloss, and it goes on in such a beautiful colour, bearing in mind that everyone's got different undertones, different lip colours, but I would suggest it's definitely worth a go, because I don't understand why, which is why I'm not the creator of the brand, but they've come up with this beautiful colour that just works. It just looks gorgeous. It's much more subtle on me when it's on. Very subtle pink, little hint of peach, very warm. It's lovely. They say it glides on easily and it's not too sticky. Yes, I agree. On me, very rarely does a lip gloss last for ages. This lasted ages. It's not very often that I'm left with gloss on which has lasted evenly and it's time to take it off. I don't normally have the issue of take it off. It's normally it's already came off and maybe I need to apply more, but this was actually a situation where I had to take it off. So that doesn't happen very often. Let me put a little bit here. So it goes on. Nice pigmentation, so it's not OTT pigmented, but you can build it up. If you can imagine, if you've got your lip liner underneath as a base too, it's very soft, it's very silky, but again, they've managed to not make it sticky. But what it looks like in the tube, I would say it looks a bit more vibrant in the tube. It's much more subtle and soft when it's on your lips, and I say that as a compliment. Some people, when I'm doing makeup, they might look at a colour and say, oh, I'm not sure, and you have to say to them, try it on. It looks so different when you try it on. Can you see that sheen? That's really nice. And yeah, so I wrote here great colour because I thought it was a great colour. And yeah, peachy pink was how I described it. Didn't dry out or flake for me, and I think it's another hero product because it's so difficult to get a gloss that does actually fulfill all of the things that we want from it, whilst not being what we consider to be the classic things that we don't want. We don't want stickiness, we don't want it to disappear really quickly, we don't want it to transfer. So I think they've done a marvellous job of trying to incorporate all of the needs as you get older, all of the wants and all of the things they've tried to keep out of it that we don't want. So Studio10, I think you've done a fabulous job. Grace, well done. I would recommend checking out the Studio10 website. Have a look, because you'll even get a chance, if you want to read the blogs, to listen to the podcast. It's more of an ethos and an approach to our makeup as we age. It's not just products on a website. So I hope you found that useful. Let me know your thoughts. Do you already use Studio10, or do you intend on starting to move into different makeup for your skin needs as you get older? I'd love to know your thoughts. Have a great day, and I'll see you again soon.